right? I think we're connecting.
Yes.
Just waiting for the final confirmation.
In the control tower.
Yeah, here we go. Awesome, awesome. Okay, yes. So beautiful. Amalia with Karmic Kindness and Stefan joining you. He's how should we introduce you, Stefan? We're in this together. Obviously, we're in this together. Do not go back one bit. How do you want people to find you? So maybe that's how we'll start. So I'm Amalia Natalio at Karmic Kindness, and we also have Stefan.
So Stefan Dragan right here we're in this together. So we have, by the way, a YouTube channel called We Are in This Together that you can join in, subscribe, and enjoy the videos that we also have here. Some of them we are sharing there too. And do not hold back one bit, which is the Instagram, which is again the account where you can talk to me, open to work with one-on-one and get more inspiration for your daily life to work flawlessly.
And all of our info is below in the description, so you're able to check us out there. So this week our focus is, and so far we've talked all about different types of relationships. And this week we're talking about the relationship with self. So how do you relate and engage with yourself? And, it's interesting. I found in my work and my own personal journey that the way I think I engage with myself is often very different than the way I actually engage with myself. And I'm going to give everyone a little soul work, what I call soul work assignment. And that is to pay attention for the rest of today, whenever you watch this video. So from this moment on, pay attention to how you are talking to yourself and what you're doing to take care of yourself. So an example of this would be you make a mistake on something and you're like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Why did I do that? Or, oh my gosh, silly me, let me fix that. Or, oh, I'm really hungry, but I need to do this thing. Instead of recognizing, you know what, I'm really hungry, I'm going to pause and go take care of my body. So those are just two small examples of how we relate to ourselves, how we engage with ourselves. Now, if you were a parent or your beloved was sitting next to you, and that word is significant, which you'll find out later why, you would absolutely say, don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay. It'll get resolved. Or you're hungry? How about I bring you some fresh fruit or a sandwich or whatever it might be. So it's just recognizing how we often are harder on ourselves than we would be on someone else. Sometimes we're hard on everybody, including ourselves and other people, but just an awareness, there's no judgment around it, but just to have that sense of, oh, interesting. Okay, let me see how I can shift this or change this. What are your thoughts on that, Stefan?
That's absolutely right, because the card of today, by the way, I'm not sure if we should jump straight to the card or not, but this is exactly how it starts. It starts with showing how everything starts with the mountain first, not with where the river ends up, not with the destination, not with the ocean. You start with the source of everything, with the source of where your day starts. And of course, your day starts with yourself. And once you start yourself with yourself to engage with filling yourself with your own joy, with your own happiness, with your own self-awareness, and with your own love, of course, everything that will pour out to you through the day will be love, will be that never-ending river of patience, of kindness, of abundance, because we start to give that to ourselves first. So of course, it's absolutely agreeing with that, because everything that pours out throughout the day is based on what we've given to ourselves in the morning. So it's so important to.
I'm gonna share your card so that I feel like what you're talking about relates specifically to that. So let me put that up on the screen for everyone to see, and that way you can share a bit more about the card and about what you were just saying a moment ago.
Thank you so much, because it's exactly right. Like, we have the river here, which is absolutely amazing. We have the river, as we can see, if we can pinch the screen and zoom into the card a little bit, we can see that we have many different individual golden balls in there. In the middle, we have a red ball. These can be seen as experiences, right? So through the day, we have multiple experiences. We have 7, 8, 2 or 3 different priorities that we need to engage with and that we need to check, like a checklist that we need to do through the day so we can accomplish everything we have in our mind to accomplish. But if we do the checklist first, we see all of these balls are golden, but we see in the middle a red one. Well, that red one is ourselves. We cannot start with the golden opportunities, with the golden priorities first, even though they seem to be rich, even though they seem to be abundant, even though they are experiences that can bring money into our lives, that can bring happiness into our lives, that can bring anything into our lives. If we do not start with the number one first, which is the red one, which is ourselves, everything we do through the day is going to be wasted, because we're not going to charge ourselves with high vibration. We're not going to charge ourselves with thinking of ourselves first. We're going to charge ourselves with thinking of the experiences first. No matter what experience we have in our lives, and no matter how golden they are, we need to prioritize. As we can see here, this character is wondering which experience to choose first. When you are in doubt, when you are uncertain, when you feel lost, when you feel confused as to what to do next, start with yourself. Go back at the source. Because as you go back at the source and fill your own mountain, fill your own heart, fill your own mind, and fill your own body with your own self-care, then everything else will get clarified, because you'll be in a heightened vibration. And all fears, all doubts, all uncertainties, as we can see, there's a snake there, just near that golden ball, the golden ball and the red one. All those fears will dissipate, because we will see from a higher vision. We'll see from a higher point. Why? Because we've given to ourselves that energy that dissipates the fears and the doubts. If we do not do that, through the day, we're going to be taken over by those fears. We're going to be taken over by those doubts. We're going to end up having a day where we are repressed, where we suppress ourselves and suppress that which we truly want to do. As you were saying earlier, that I want to eat, but instead of eating, I'm going to do my work. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen, because we haven't charged ourselves and we haven't taken off the number one first. So that's what I have to say now with this card. What do you see?
Awesome. Yeah. So I love what you were saying about how he was making choices, how he's in this place of contemplation, like, which one do I choose? And how often in our lives do we do that also? Do we have like path A, path B, path C? Which one do I choose? Which one is most aligned with me? And the ladders kind of reminds me, for those people watching in the United States, and I don't know if this is an international board game, but here in the US, we played this game called Chutes and Ladders. And it was basically ladders that would go up, and then there would be these slides that would take you down. And the point was to make your way up to the top of the board. You start at the bottom, and where you would get to a chute or a slide, you were like, oh man, you worked so hard to get to this pinnacle place to try to win the game. And so this reminds me a lot of that, is that and if you think of it, I'm not a big fan of the term ascension, but if you think about it in terms of ascending or raising your vibration or being able to experience life on a higher frequential basis, it's similar. The choices you make are going to lead you to a specific place. And that place is where, in my belief system, and what I found to be true for me, is that the choices that you make that are in alignment with your soul are going to help you go up that ladder a lot more easily and not have to slide down the slide. Now, sliding down the slide sometimes is fun. And especially if you decide that you want to do that. Like, it may be like, I know this choice may set me back, but I don't care because it's fun. I'm enjoying this right now. And that's okay too. It's not always about the climb. It's not always about the rising. It's not always about getting ahead. Sometimes it's part of the fun is staying right where you are, or going back to revisit something. I love the snake on the ground. I also noticed a wing on the side. That kind of makes me wonder about what's underneath one of those bowls, but the snake takes us back to the ground. It takes us back to the simple task of survival. And, I feel like a lot of times that's where our fears come from, in the big fears around survival. How am I going to make it? How am I going to survive? A lot of our fears as humans connect directly to that innate primal fear.
Indeed, yeah. I love that explanation. And with the ladder, it's true that we end up having so many multiple experiences, and we think about ascending there, and making it fun and climbing down from all the way up there, from where we go through, I think is the most important thing. And to run in a fun way down on the ground, where the self-care is, I feel is the most important thing for ourselves. To forget, as the last point, we've seen the snake leaving from that red bowl, not going towards it, but leaving it, because when you take care of yourself, the fears go away from you. You will not attract them anymore. They will go away from you, because you will glow in energy, you will go in vibration, and all that darkness will not stay around you, because you will just be a magnet for miracles instead of being a magnet for accidents. So it's so important.
I love that. All right, so I'm excited to share my card, which again, so beautifully ties in with yours. So let me do my magic here on the other side of the screen and share this beauty with everyone. So I am using the Shaman's Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. And what is his name? Alberto Villoldo. I can't see my deck from here to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's his name. And this card to me is so powerful in that, let me close something because I feel like there's stuff in the background. In that, you look at it and immediately my eye is drawn to the fire itself. Okay, so we have that part of it. Hold on one second. I need to do one small, let me stop sharing for 1 minute. Sorry, everybody. Okay. One small logistical change. Okay. Here we go. Got it sorted. All right. I just wanted to make sure it was showing up online properly. Okay. So much is, to me, this card seems very simple, yet is so complex. So we have what I see as a dragon in this card, and I also see a heart. And if we're thinking about this in terms of ourselves, where are we? There's two ways I see this. One is, where are we launching fireballs at ourselves? Where are we not being kind, like almost like exploding ourselves? Where are we potentially burning down our old way of being, like a phoenix rising from the ashes to emerge anew? And where can we burn through, move through, navigate our way through those situations, circumstances, and perhaps the dialogue we have with ourselves that is keeping us from accessing our divine, innate, true nature, and being able to be reborn and rebirthed again anew. But it all comes from a place of love. I love this term, thinking about the term of a beloved as yourself. Like, you are the OG beloved. It's not another person. And being able to find that place within ourselves where we truly feel that we can access that we know what that is. In workshops and other events that I hold, and even in one-to-one client work, that's something that we talk about, is being able to access that feeling. We often have to think of or connect to a relationship with someone else. So a partner, even a pet, or an activity, something that we really truly love to do. And that there's a disconnect with how we can access the love of ourselves without connecting to the love of someone else first, like starting with ourselves first and then emanating it out. Radical acceptance is also written on this card. And I feel like that is also one of the pivotal pinnacle pieces. Actually, say that fast 3 times, that'd be hard. To really be able to love yourself, radically accepting who you are, radically accepting what's happening in your life, radically accepting all that's going on around you and being at peace with it, because you know who you are, because you know that you're loved, because you know that you're accepted, and the reason is because you feel those things for you. One other thing I want to point out, and then I'm very curious to hear what you have to say, Stefan, is the number 2 on this card. When I think about the number 2, you obviously think about 2 people, but in what we're talking about here, and we're in this together with Stefan and myself, it's also about 2 sides of us, the masculine side and the feminine side, being able to merge those 2 into one. I mean, think about a heart. I'm not sure if I'm showing up if my picture is showing up on YouTube, but if you think about a heart, when you make a heart with your hands, there's 2 sides that are coming together to form the heart. You've got your left hand, the feminine, your right hand, the masculine, and they come together to form one. And again, we often think about that in terms of relationships with other people, but how about if we thought about it in terms of the relationship with ourselves first, and then be able to expand out from there? So that's my take on this card.
I absolutely love it. You see exactly how the way you closed the reading, that's when the completion or the continuation of this teaching that you've just given came to me. Because yes, we sometimes feel disappointed with ourselves. We sometimes feel betrayed, or we sometimes feel let down in our own lives, in our own practices, and everything that we are doing or feel that are inspired to do and we're not doing. And then the number 2, we think that we expect the other one next to us to fulfill us and to come and fill that gap that we have emptied, that we have not filled up, that we have not showed up for ourselves. And when we have not shown up for ourselves, expecting on the other one to do so, and when they disappoint us and they do not do that, then what are we going to feel? An even bigger disappointment. And we're going to blame them. They are never there for me when I need them. I always help them. I always give them so much. And when they're supposed to give back to me, they give me nothing. Why is this always happening to me? Or why are they like this? Or what is this circumstance trying to teach me? What is it trying to teach me? Always come back to the self. Always come back to self-care. Always come back and be reborn again, like the phoenix bird. Funny enough, what I've seen in this picture is like a phoenix bird in a cocoon or in a blanket, staying there in her self-care, in her self-love, in her inner light, trying to see clarity in her life. And of course, how can you see clarity of what to do now? What is the first step or the next step in my life now, unless you go back to your cocoon, you give yourself your own warmth, you give yourself your own kindness, you give yourself your own practices that feel inspiring to you, even if you do them with another. For example, if you feel in the morning to go for yoga or to go for running, and if you have that specific partner with which you can do the activity, that will be even greater, because you take care of yourself at the same time as also you're having togetherness outside, which is beautiful, which is what I wanted to wonder. If you do have that partner with which you do those practices of self-care, that's a miracle. If you do them by yourself now and fulfill yourself and you are your own phoenix bird, you see that priority in your life with a lot more clarity, and it will be a lot more difficult to be let down by others. Because remember, the outside world is only showing us what we are showing to ourselves, and they are letting us down when we are letting us down. So let's start with self-care. Let's fill our own morning practices with our own love. Let's also find that partner with which we can do those practices of self-care for a part of the day, and we will see how the day will explode of goodness, of cheerfulness, of harmony, and as this card is showing, of passion, the passion of being alive, because this is what we want. We're in this together, Amalia and Stefan. We know we're amazing, but you are even more amazing for following us, for joining us. Please leave us your comments of what you think this card is showing up into your life for you. What is it revealing for you? So you inspire us as well. with your viewpoint, because we all have a viewpoint, and together, of course, we bring the whole painting and make it complete. So please share with you your vision and your view. This is my take on it.
Yeah, I love that. I just popped over to YouTube to see a couple comments more related to like hoping they didn't miss the card and that they're here for the card. So I don't see anyone chiming in at this moment. Let me check one more time. Hi, Zena. Hi, Nancy. Okay, so Nancy's asking for, and Nancy's asking for examples of self-care, and I would love to throw a few into the ring, and then Stefan, you as well.
Definitely.
So I actually do a whole workshop around self-love and self-care, and I feel that people use them interchangeably, and I feel like there's a difference to it. Self-love is the love that you shower onto and that you feel inside of yourself. Self-care is the action of loving yourself. So it's that action that you take in order to love yourself. And I go into this really deeply in the workshop Empowered Love. So when you're doing a self-care practice, it can be something big or it could be something small. So self-care, simple and free, is starting your day before you even open your eyes and telling yourself something kind and loving. Self-care can also be something like taking 5 minutes to start your day quietly, sitting in your favorite chair with your favorite cup of coffee or tea or lemon water or whatever it is for you, and really just being with yourself. Self-care can look like taking a yoga class, or maybe a kickboxing class, or maybe an art class. That is self-care. You could then do something a little bit more elaborate and a little bit more expensive and go and get a massage, or go and get a manicure or a pedicure. And this is for men too. This is not exclusive to women. Men can do all these things also.
I do my eyebrows, so yes, it's definitely for men too.
Yeah, so it's for anyone, everyone. So just a few examples of simple, free and other options of self-care that might cost a lot. Oh, one more thing. I'm taking all of the ideas, Stefan. You're really going to have to be creative. The other option is connecting in nature and allowing Mother Nature to envelop you in her beautiful, loving embrace. And that may look like laying on the earth. That may look like hugging a tree. And if you see me out and about, I literally do that a lot. So that crazy person with the long brown hair you see, it might be me. Stop there because I feel like I'm taking all the good ideas.
We've seen you on the beach, actually. I've seen the picture that you had on Instagram where you were on the beach and you were talking about the coming Earth Day and how we need to embrace the ocean, and how we need to embrace to take care of nature around, and not throw garbage, of course, and take care of and take responsibility for our actions. And this is also self-care, because you're talking about nature and we're talking about ourselves. Of course, the way we treat the environment, nature, and our surroundings is also part of self-care, because what we leave behind can be order or disorder. And based on what that is, it can impact our life, because of course, what we do to the outside, we do to the inside, and it shifts us energetically. So self-care, remember, it's about what we do for ourselves and also what we do for our environment. The idea that I have is that this morning I went with a friend, I invited him to a martial arts class, went to the park with him. And as I tried to give myself this breathing of newfound moment and newfound friendship, which is a rejoiceful moment where you find yourself to be happier, to do your self-care with another person, a dear friend of yours. And as I was doing this, and as I was sharing with him also this newfound awareness of grounding in nature barefoot, I said to him, take your shoes off. And he was like, I don't think I want to. This is part of the practice. You have to do it. Take your shoes off. This is the number one thing you got to do. And it's like, okay, I'm going to take them off. And he took them off. He grounded in the space of nature. And even though it was a bit breezy, the fact that he connected with the earth barefoot, what happens to us through the day when we're not connected with the earth, because we have our the soil from our shoes is not directly involved with the earth? Of course, we are disconnected from the frequency of Earth, from the frequency of the balance of the universe, basically, which is the 432 hertz, which is the
Schumann resonance.
Exactly, is that unconditional love that we are aligned with God, with the balance of the universe, with the balance of health and well-being, because that's what I mean when I mean health. And health is about understanding that when we ground ourselves in nature, barefoot, we connect to the frequency of the earth, and that frequency of the earth dissipates all other frequencies that we have carried around us through the day or through the previous days. Meaning is bringing us back to balance where we see clarity in our life. So barefoot, martial arts, yoga, just simple moving around and allowing your body to inspire you as to what kind of movement you would do, that is enough of a practice for the first hour in the morning for you to feel grounded and to have clarity as to what to do next. What I've done was to talk for about 2 hours with God. I connected to God. I spoke to him. I told him that I don't trust him because this is happening to me and that is happening to me. But a lot of clarity came after all of that. Uncertainty came to the surface, because no matter what disagreement you have, just envision that person or that being, in this case, God, envision him or her or them in front of you and speak to them and tell them as if you're actually having a conversation with them, what disagreement you have with them, because that is also self-care, expelling that unnatural energies that you feel inside of yourself that you want to bring out, but you don't have the opportunity or you don't feel that it's right for you to speak with that person anymore. So go in nature and bring out everything that is inside that is uncomfortable. And that's what I see as some of the activities of self-care to bring us back to balance. Hope you guys enjoy them. Give us some tips as well, because we're ready to enjoy more and to do more based on what you feel inspired. And I feel the number one thing is to ask yourself, what is it that I would like to do? Because your own consciousness will always tell you what is the right thing for now. Because what might be right for me, maybe it can be different for you. So look inside always, because that's the greatest master and source of inspiration.
1000%. And you're welcome, Nancy. She said they were great examples. One thing I want to mention for people who live in places where it's cold. I am not like Stefan. Like when I first met Stefan, he had a reputation where we were at this event of getting into the Adriatic Sea in the winter, which I will say I did not do. I put my feet and my legs in, but not my whole body. So he can handle extremes like that. A lot of us prefer not to, let's just say. I prefer not to. Like I could, but I don't really want to. So if you're looking to connect with the earth and you live in a place where it's cold and you don't want to take your shoes off, what if you lay on the ground with your clothes on and really just allow that essence of the earth to support you and to frequentially shift your resonance. So I mean, there's studies about this. I'm not going to get too much into the science, but it's a frequential resonance that will take place with you and the earth, particularly when you're laying on her, and you come back into a state of balance. Another way to do this that doesn't require going outside, I prefer to be outside, but if you're in a place where you really can't, or you want to let this play in the background, it's so incredibly helpful. There's a number of videos on YouTube and you can get online where you play the Schumann resonance while you're doing things. I have a number of clients who are very ungrounded, and having that resonance, that sound, that frequency playing in the background, even if it's on a low volume, does wonders for grounding you. And that can also be a really great self-care practice to show yourself self-love.
Indeed, that's amazing. It's always about adapting to that which we feel ready for. Because even though I was in the ocean, you were in the ocean too, because you took the step that you felt inspired to do. Because it's all about listening to yourself. It's not about doing magic and doing it in a specific way. As long as we do that which we feel inspired to do, that is enough. Because there's no scale of who does it more, or what's better for me to do, or that person does this, then if I don't do that, then I'm not good enough. It's exactly, you are not competing with anyone, but you are listening to your own inner center, because that's the real master that we're here to listen. And yeah, by the way, that I wanted to say that my friend had also an itchiness, basically, throughout his body, and he didn't know what it was coming from. And I've said to him, as we were doing the practice, this itchiness is coming from because you're not accepting a situation in your life. You're rejecting yourself in speaking your truth and in understanding that you need to speak your truth now. And you need to understand that you need to stop putting yourself second place just because you risk from speaking that which you feel to be uncomfortable for you to that person or to that group of people, because that will make it even more uncomfortable. So he, in the past 2 days, he's been constantly itching himself. And that was the situation that shifted his life in the present moment permanently, because it's been happening for him for the past week. So if you guys have an itchiness, then that is the reason why that is the reason why you're having it. You're not speaking your truth and you feel uncomfortable with the situation in your life now, and you're not letting yourself, you don't give value to yourself, you're not accepting what you have to say or do enough to shift that situation. And because of that, your body's saying, I feel uncomfortable with myself. And in order to feel comfortable with myself, I have to speak out that which I have to say and make myself feel important for myself. So make yourself feel important for yourself. Stop this itchiness. Learn to care for yourself and love yourself, because you deserve. And also, if you have a partner to do this with, even better, because I've done this in the morning and I feel grateful that I'm in this situation. So thank you guys for tuning in. I guess, Amalia, if you want to share something else, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what you were saying about, yes, it feels great to do it with someone else. I mean, we're wired for connection. So that's amazing. Start your day connecting with you first. And then again, you're ready to embrace anyone else that comes along. So remember, we're in this together. Amalia and Stefan are here for you. So if you want to reach out to either of us for any sort of support, you know where to find us below. And we will see you here next week, same time, same place.
As always, keep tuned.
Great.
Ciao.
Bye for now, everyone.